Well, hey there, Eugene here from Review Outdoor Gear, and today I'm introducing our awesome ROG handmade, handcrafted Ferro rod, also known as ferrocerium rod and a lot of other names, but we're going to be calling it the Ferro rod. And what this is actually a just big ferro rod that we have installed a nice oak handle onto, and it is stained with some oil, an oil stain, and then we also handcrafted this little holster for it. Basically made to shape to fit the rod perfectly, and that goes on your belt or also can go onto your pack with a little string or a carabiner, but mostly it's designed to be on a belt, kind of like behind your knife, and I'll show you how that looks in just a second. Now let me just give you some specs on this thing just so you know. So this rod here is a ferrocerium rod, also known as mesh metal. Basically the main point is that it's a softer material that you can actually scrape off really easily, and it has magnesium in it, and so it will really let you make those sparks that you can kind of see rolling around once you strike the rod. And I'll show you how that looks in just a minute. In terms of size and all of that type of thing, the rod itself is exactly 1/2 inch thick, and the length of the rod is exactly 5 inches, which is basically like 12 centimeters, and I think it's a little bit over a centimeter thick, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 1.2 centimeters thick. That's the length, and it's seated into this handle. The handle itself here is a piece of oak, nice dry oak. It's seated right in there, and it is stained with some oil. And then we have our nice little ROG stamp on there. It says handmade. So these are actually made by Vlad and I, handmade, 100%. Of course, we don't make the rods. And in terms of the weight of this rod itself with the handle, I'll give you that here. So it is 129 grams, which is 4.6 ounces. And with the little holster, that's 4.9 ounces and 139 grams, just 10 grams more. So that's the weight. The fit here, so it's exactly 1/2 inch, and it'll fit just perfectly and drop right into there. And it's really nice that if you do hit it from the bottom, it has kind of a self-tightening system, so you won't, if you pull it back and then push it, it comes out. But if you just tap it on the bottom, it kind of retains itself a little bit, so it stays in there pretty well. As it will wear down, it will become a little bit more loose in here. In terms of the lifetime of this rod, I think you will be able to use it for quite a long time. Here's one that I'll be demonstrating for you today. It's the exact same kind of rod, just in an older handle that we made. And I've been using this basically full-time since I got it. Man, it's been over a year. And you can see it started to wear down a little bit, but it has got a lot of life in it. So it will last you a ridiculous amount of time. Let's just say that. And these will be available on our website, so there will be a link kind of in the corner up there to click, and you can check them out on our website. We're selling them, and it's just one way you guys can support us here and have a really awesome ferro rod for yourself. Well, that's the ferro rod, and let me also show you some of the measurements here on the little holster we provide. So the holster can accommodate a belt up to like 2 1/8 inch, probably comfortably a 2-inch belt, and anything less than that, of course, will fit. It has just 2 steel rivets right in there, nicely secured. And the little hole, like I said, is exactly 1/2 inch. And this little holster is 1 1/4 inches wide. And if anybody wants to know, that's about 3 inches there to the very bottom. When it does sit in here, it just sits right up against that and just in a natural kind of position there. So the ferro rod is designed to sit here kind of right on your hip, probably behind your knife. If you have a bushcrafting knife or any kind of other tool here, it'll just sit really comfortably like that. I'm gonna move this out of the way just so we can demonstrate this. You can just, of course, just pull your belt right through there. To remove it, you can do kind of a 2-hand removal, and it's a little bit harder to remove by one hand, which is partly kind of a safety feature. You don't want it to fall out really easily, so you just have to hold down this little tip right here and then just pull it out. You can do it by one hand, but you just have to push that down with your finger like that. And then on the way in, you have to kind of put it in and then slide it down once it's already in there. But once it sits there, it's very nicely against your body, and it has, again, that system to where it shouldn't pop out too easily if you're walking around in the woods. And it'll sit right behind your knife, and you really wouldn't notice it back there. Now, this is kind of a nice alternative to a lot of those sheaths that have ferro rod on the side. This just keeps your sheath nice and clean and gives you an option of having a ferro rod or not. So that's that. And there's how it looks. Well, so here's a ferro rod, the same exact kind of ferro rod, mission metal rod. And I'm going to be showing you how it works. So you can use actually anything almost to strike this. Anything that's harder than the rod itself and has a nice 90-degree corner or edge. So for example, you can use a piece of sawed off saw like this. This came with another ferro rod I had. And you just have a nice edge on that and you just run it right on the rod. And there you can see the kind of sparks this thing throws. And you can see that those sparks roll around on the ground once they hit the ground. So that's that. You can also just use a piece of glass, and I just found this piece of glass laying around here. It will have a lot of very sharp, nice edges, and you just put those on there. And actually, this is surprisingly more easy than what I was just doing, because it's the hard glass really eats into the rod really well and lets you do that. You can also use, a lot more likely, your knife, which if it has a nice 90-degree edge, is very, very similar. And again, just grip that. And you can see the nice, beautiful sparks that's thrown. I'm already lighting fires on accident without even trying there. So, very, very nice ferro rod. It will really last you and it will really throw those nice sparks. So let's show you here. I got a little bit of fat wood shaved off onto here. Let's see if we can light a fire real quick. Okay. Just a nice little pile of fat wood. There we go. A couple strikes, and we got the fat wood to burn. And just add a couple feather sticks, and we're in business. So, no time. Start a fire, and perfect. Well, thank you guys for watching that video. If you are interested in the ferro rod, there is a link up there. Click on the eye in the corner, and it'll take you to the website to check this out. Also check the description for any updated information. If you have questions, leave them in the comments down below. So, can't think of anything else right now. Thank you guys very much. As always, praise God for everything He provides for us. And I will see you in the next video. It's been Eugene with Review Outdoor Gear, signing out.